Hey guys, welcome to the Our Anime podcast. Just a friendly reminder that we are in fact unofficial for those of us who have a hate burner for official unofficial stuff. And today we are going to coincidentally talk about stuff we hate. Today I have with me Becca.
What's bitchin', bitches?
Oh my god.
And the guy who, whenever I say his name, really hates it, so Random Dude Man 12.
Wow, good on you for fucking showing some restraint, fam. Holy shit. Good. Man, round of applause. Fuck.
Yeah, so essentially we're just gonna talk about stuff anime related that we just absolutely hate. Actually, most of it I think is more related to anime and stuff in the community. Yeah, so I guess we'll start with everyone's favorite topic, buzzwords. Does anyone have any buzzwords? I was going to say favorite buzzwords, but in this context, it's least favorite buzzwords.
Yeah, I definitely have
buzzwords you absolutely despise.
Okay, so obviously one of the really annoying buzzwords for me is melodramatic. Because so very rarely do people use it in the right context, and they just kind of feel to use it whenever they kind of think something's, dramatic. Because they think that that's the same thing as melodramas, like just bad drama, when it's not actually the case. Melodrama is technically it's just drama that's meant to really be emotionally moving. Let me look up the actual definition of melodrama. Melodrama. Yeah, it's when it's exaggerated characters and exciting events to appeal to the emotions. So things are exaggerated, right? In order to get a response out of the viewer. However, some fucktards said that Origairu is super melodramatic, and I'm fucking pissed about that, because what it does is it highlights subtleties in an attempt to focus on drama. But fucking hell, it's not the same fucking thing, you little piece of shit. Oh my god. Okay, so you want an example of melodrama? Think of a guy who's walking down the street and a car crashes into him. Holy shit! That's melodrama. That's so sad. It would be even worse if he has his little brother with him. He's like, Oni-chan, I'm gonna grow up just like you. And he's like, oh, that's great. And then he gets run over. That's melodrama, you fuck. Not fucking seeing some guy twitch and then you say, oh, that's melodramatic because they focused on that. No, you fucker.
I'm inclined to say that people think melodrama means drama that was bad, or drama I didn't like,
or exaggerated drama.
Yeah, no, that's the core definition.
The actual definition.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
It's just so stupid because people use it often and they don't know what it means, and then it becomes annoying because the problem is when other people who are considering to watch a show like Origairu will read up on what people think about it, right? Because most people like to read a review of something to see if it's worthwhile, and they'll see the word melodrama, and they'll connect that with something negative, so they'll avoid watching it. And that fucking reviewer, that little piece of shit, that inexcusable trash,
I bet it was a mal review too, which are
it probably
awful.
Was a mal review, honestly. And that
mal reviews are fucking awful.
She prevented someone from watching a series that they could judge for themselves because of one fucking word. And I swear to God, if I find that person on mal, I'm gonna strangle them because their taste is probably horrible. It's shit. They're stupid. They're poop. They're probably in middle school watching anime. They think they're I'm 14 and this is deep, so I know how to talk about shit. No, fuck off.
Maybe they're just some first year lit student at Oxford.
Oh my god, that would be even worse. Holy shit. Oh god.
think they're smart because they did like first year literature. Anyway, to add to that, one of my favorite shows from last season, which was Kiss, and I've also sort of got the shit out of the stick with the melodramatic stuff. I went to Mal, and most of the high-rated reviews give it a 4 out of 10. And like one of the first words the reviewers will use is melodramatic or melodrama. I'm just like, no, I'm done. Just close the tab.
You just nope out. Well, your first problem was going to Mal reviews.
Yeah,
because those are cancer. Reviews in general, I think, are just cancer.
I don't actually like look at like the Mal reviews themselves, but I just want to see, okay, what do like people who like read reviews or Mal reviews think of this?
Yeah, there is an effect.
Like, I mainly just look at the number, like which ones people vote on. Like, oh, I think it's a 4.
Right.
And it was like 6, 4, 4, 8 or something, and then like 3 of them had melodramatic as like in the first sentence. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, it just sucks because like people casual or not casuals, but I guess people who are newer to the anime scene will read those reviews and use that as the basis for choosing whether or not to watch a show, and it sucks because yeah, they could miss out on something that's actually decent because one guy didn't know the definition of a word.
And they might treat like the review as it's like objective. Oh, there's another fucking thing that I hate hearing. Is the word objective. Like, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on the word objective. I think it's misused.
I'm gonna get you started.
Okay, so when people like want to sound like they're smart and they think they're just so correct about something, they might be correct about it, but to feel really correct and to like confirm something, they just use the word objective. And they use it about, like, fucking art, which is anything, like, really but objective, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's like...
If fucks want something objective, do fucking math. 1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah, that's...
Objective truth, guys.
Exactly, like, oh my gosh. I don't know. It's like, some people actually think that there's, like, objectively, like, objective qualities about it. I mean, you could probably debate that. That's for a whole nother episode, honestly. But, like... I don't know. There's like, in my objective opinion, which is fucking moronic.
Objective opinion. How can you say that? That's a contradiction.
I know, right? Like, if we look at the show objectively, like, how is there is no way to look at a show objectively. Everyone, even if everyone's perspective is different, everyone's perspective is inherently fucking subjective. Like, what the fuck? Oh my gosh. Every time I see the word, like, objectively, I can't take them seriously.
Yeah.
No, I feel that, man. It's pretty terrible.
Brings us to another word on our list of shit words. Is pseudo-intellectual, because that's exactly what those pricks are. I don't have much to say about this word in particular. It just popped to mind when we talked.
So
about
you're like talking about pretentious?
Yeah, stuff like that. Pretentious, pseudo-intellectual. When people use it to describe shows that think they're smarter than they are.
See, okay, I'm gonna go back to Origairu again, because Origairu gets fucking trashed by every single
Man, Origairu just gets a ton of buzzwords, doesn't it?
It does. It's edgy, it's pretentious,
buzzwords,
it's too deep for you, it's melodramatic, it's forced. That's every single buzzword is used to describe it, and it's kind of sad, TBH, because I don't think it should be described in that way. Anyways,
it's just like a bunch of people like watched the anime, didn't know what to describe it as, looked up in their dictionary of buzzwords. I'm like, oh yeah, this 8-man guy, he's really edgy, man. He like goes around and kills people. Oh wait, no, he doesn't.
Yeah, it seems like they just want to say what they're thinking, but like they can't articulate their thoughts, I guess, correctly or the way they want to. So they just use like a word to describe an entire like maybe a paragraph of what they want to say, and just be like, even worse, fuck that shit.
Or even worse, they're just trying to like game the system, because like a lot of users will ignore like reading long walls of text.
But sometimes those long walls of text are just fluff. They don't really.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying.
Okay, so I'm not going to use Orgar as an example because I think people are sick of my shit now.
If you want to rant about something, go ahead.
Nah, I'll save it for later, TVH.
I think he's covered it pretty well. I don't think what he has to say is any different.
I want to talk about pretentious in relation to like other series though, because I'm sure there's a ton of series out there.
Oh yeah, there's a ton
mislabeled by that. Because for at least in my opinion, whenever I see someone label something as pretentious, they do it because they think the show is smarter than it's trying to seem to be. But a lot of time, I mean, is that necessarily like a terrible thing? Is it just like, is like a show about poop and it's trying to make it like a deep metaphorical like shit on like your
like
life?
Literally shitcom. I see people argue about that, about like how it's about people talking shit and accepting each other for their shit.
Oh, I didn't know. Maybe I should watch it.
I mean, you could.
It's like literally 30 seconds long, and also the greatest love story ever told. So there's that.
Nah, it'd probably take me 5 hours to finish it, TBH.
Okay, my opinion on the word pretentious, I think it's a word people like to use. When they watch an anime, don't see anything particularly wrong with it. It's generally pretty decent. But they need something to shit talk it.
Or maybe it has some type of message. Like, or has some type of, like, idea that it wants to convey, and it does it in a very, like, weird way that isn't, like, I don't know, you don't really get the first time around.
Info dumping.
Yeah, it doesn't hold your hand the whole fucking way through. Oh my gosh. And I don't know if this sounds controversial, but maybe, just maybe, the show literally is too deep for someone. I feel like that's just controversial just to even say. Like, I've watched shows that I think are probably too deep for me, but, like, I don't feel like I need to call it pretentious. There's very, very few anime that would actually call it pretentious, and that would be Ergo Proxy. But I've watched shows like fucking Penguin Drum that I'm pretty sure I did not get, but I'm pretty sure was trying to communicate an idea to me. But I'm not going to call it pretentious just because I didn't get it. Like, I don't know. No, I feel like it gets slapped on when people don't understand something. Because a lot of effort is put into anime, and it's not like they're going to just like try to be like deep. Like, I don't think that's their intention, is to be deep. I think they just want to convey a certain like idea or emotion.
Yeah.
I think something that sort of links into this, and I think this is maybe what a lot of people try and convey, now that you just word it like that, is just the maturity of an anime.
Oh god. Don't
like no, some anime just like just not as mature as bringing their points across. I feel like that links in here somewhere, because you have stuff that just info dumps and it's just really cliche, typical sort of controversial stuff, you know. I wish I was more prepared to talk about this, because this suddenly popped to mind, but it's some anime just don't handle like their ideas well and do it in a way that makes it seem like, I don't know.
And I just want to add that, like, just because something's too deep for you does not make, like, that's something not like necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't make you wrong or the work wrong. It just means that you didn't understand something. And I think it's okay to, like, not understand something. I don't know.
Oh god. I'm linking this back to Origairu, because fucking in the second season, people shit on the series because like they had to read paragraphs of text just to understand what was going on. They were like, "Oh, this show's too deep for me," or "It's pretentious." I fucking hate it. Why is my favorite series shit on by every single buzzword? Why?
Is it also edgy? I mean, but anyway,
to some
like.
people.
I've always wanted to ask people that like call a show pretentious, like what would their definition of something that's quote unquote deep? I hate to use the word deep. That's also kind of a buzzword because it's kind of become like a meme now. Like, oh, you think something's deep? Wow, you must be like a you must be like some douchebag.
I'm 14 and this is deep.
But I'd love to know what someone who calls a show pretentious, what they're like.
I actually get bothered by that. Like, I understand, like, sometimes what the message that they're trying to convey isn't the most, advanced thing in the world, but at least they're trying to convey a message. And the fact that, you're probably like a 30-year-old male who's outside the target audience is complaining about the message that they're trying to convey, and you're bashing it for that, and it just feels weird. Like, why? I don't understand. Whatever.
Anyway, moving on, because I think we sort of got stuck there. What were you wanting to talk about in Becker died?
Don't mention it. Now people are looking. Now people are checking the video. Oh god.
It's fine. We can cut it out.
Okay, yeah. So I totally just lost connection. I'm so sorry about that.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'm just like, is anyone gonna say anything here?
Like,
It's
okay, so
I'm just
yeah, I
not
was like,
prepared to carry the conversation.
once I like ended my rant about like what the definition of like deep, what someone's like definition of deep would be, I just didn't get an answer, and I was like, I'm sorry for ranting, I guess. And then I just didn't get an answer. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Oh, rip. Well,
that's how I felt. Like, oh fuck,
you little piece
Dude,
of
man.
shit. That's another thing I hate, guys. Whenever a fucks like this guy who somehow managed to fuck his way into modding the subreddit. I don't know who we had to blow for this, but
So
now he
okay, so I'll just
says
like
my
cut
name.
this part. I'll just cut that part out and just put like in the video like technical difficulties.
Sure.
yeah, no, because like I feel like random shit like this is pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It makes it more genuine.
Okay, stop the meta commentary,
like
guys.
Orogairu.
Stop the meta commentary, please. Let's get back on
Oh,
topic.
fucking meta shit. That's shit I hate too.
Oh, God.
Shows that are like really meta just for the sake of being meta.
Oh yes, shows that are
That
like,
actually bugs me. Okay,
self-aware, but like not really.
okay.
They're like,
They like point out like a
Using-
meta, like say something meta, but it's like just as a joke, I guess.
I'm gonna bring up the show that aired like a year ago. I think it was like Seikano or something.
Yeah,
Sakano. That is,
People thought it was like a really good meta commentary, but it was just your generic harem shit with a shitty protagonist. And all it did differently to everything else was to point out what it was doing. It's not smart for just pointing out that it's stupid, right?
Yeah,
It's
no, I
like
agree
some
with you.
dumb dude terrorizing the grocery store while saying, I'm terrorizing the grocery store like a douchebag. Like, that doesn't make it any better. Guys.
I don't know. Like people saw the episode 0 or whatever when the hot spring, and they were like, "Oh, look at all this meta commentary. Oh, I can't wait for this. This show's gonna be self-aware. Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, fantastic." And then it turned out to be pretty meh. And I still don't understand like the hype for it. I mean, I probably based on the girls, TBH.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I just want to add that one episode 0 has to be one of the worst episodes of anime I've ever seen in my life.
Oh shit!
Wait, which
No,
show?
like seriously, I just could barely finish
For
and I
Sakano,
dropped the show.
Becker.
Then.
Oh, yeah. I
Raise
still
a
haven't
boring
watched that
girlfriend.
show, but I heard it's like really fucking meta, just
Yeah.
up its own ass with its own meta-ness.
Really isn't. I haven't seen it, but on the flip side, we have stuff like Shirobako. If anyone wants to
Yeah, sure.
pitch in on that.
Barco is
People usually like throw the word meta around that show.
That's actually
Yeah.
like really good because it just displays what it's doing in the industry, but it didn't like feel overbearing. It was like interesting. I liked it. Guys,
We all
you
like
want-
Shirbako.
You want to say you liked it too? Because like I need to hear you guys saying
No,
you liked it.
I mean, I like Shirbako. Not as much as everyone else does. Everyone gives a lot of 10s and 9s. I was just that guy who gave it
I think
an
it's
8.
an 8.
Yeah,
Hey,
I feel like I should
the
like it
same.
more, but like, what are you gonna do?
It feels really slow at times. Honestly, you just kind of like they're slogging through stuff. So
Okay, it's something else because I sort of feel like we're done with buzzwords here. Is sort of
I want
concepts
to talk
and-
about the word edgy because that's
Oh,
such
we
a
haven't. I
huge-
briefly
Oh.
mentioned the word edgy,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
never really.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that because honestly, edgy is such a common term for pretty much anything,
Anything
medium,
that
you'll
like
see the
tries
word
to be
edgy.
like remotely dark.
Yeah, it just
and
gets
mature.
labeled edgy instantly.
Yep.
Like
Too edgy 5 guys.
yeah, like it sucks because like it's so terrible when you dismiss a work instantly just because it becomes edgy. And when you think of the word edgy, you think of like Shadow the Hedgehog or Cold Steel the Hedgehog, and like the fucking like fact that they're made by like 12-year-old kids who are just being stupid. And it
much.
sucks because that negative stereotype ruins your enjoyment of a show or makes you want to drop it or like consider not picking it up. It sucks, and it's so weird what the actual like definition for edgy is now, because when the appropriate time to use it is.
Yeah, just because it popped to mind. Has anyone actually played that shitty Shadow the Hedgehog game?
No.
I think it came out like
fuck.
10 years
I can't be fucked to
that
play
was all the
games.
hype when I was in grade school, right? And so essentially, like, Shadow the fucking Hedgehog, right? You're a fucking anime hedgehog, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're running around with fucking guns, shooting people, shooting fucking demons. It's that shit's retarded.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why that came to mind. I mean, it came to mind because you brought it up.
Shadow
In
the
retrospect,
Hedgehog.
that has to be one of the dumbest fucking things I have. No. Okay, back to anime.
Okay. So, what like examples can you guys think of something being like edgy or characters being edgy? Because I think
Elfen
it's
Lied.
fair to- Yeah, that's true.
Every
Like,
time I think of the word edgy, I think of Elfen Lied and I think of the scene with the dog. Now that's
Yeah.
like really like Elfen Lied is like the definition of edgy. Like fuck buzzwords. It's like, oh my god. Have you like just watch the opening scene from the first episode? Just watch it and you'll be like, oh wow, this is like really edgy and shit.
Mm.
Oh,
But that's like on the extreme, so it actually makes sort of makes sense.
do you have like an example of edgy?
Like, okay,
Like not so extreme
God.
as like
Am
Elfen
I gonna
Lied,
go
but,
back
like,
to Oragaru again? I think I am.
I mean,
'Cause
no, if it works, like go back.
it works because people called 8-Man edgy because he's like
Is he edgy? I mean, I've never seen Oragaru.
people
so, like,
called him like
spoon feed me
because
on
he's
this.
he's all like nihilistic about the worldview or something like that. Like he thinks girls are like terrible, like they're out to NTR you or shit. So
Is it the nice
people-
girls? Or
Yeah, the nice girls mean. So people called him an edgelord because of that. Because he was like, "Fuck friends, I don't need friends," and shit like that. Which
and a lot of
sucks,
people
'cause-
like him because he has like a retarded
yeah, because he's edgy.
worldview. Like, do they acknowledge that his worldview is like
No,
bitter
they
and
like
jaded?
they enjoy his worldview and they think it's great. And then another group of people will think it's edgy and that he sucks as a character because of it. It's horrible. Who else is edgy? Oh yeah, like okay. When I think of the word edgy, I think of Sasuke from Naruto.
classic ed? He's like not okay. He's like not even like that edgy in the beginning of Naruto. He gets like really edgy later on, but
Oh god, I feel so like these are the extreme cases of him though. Like he just sort of like becomes that type of guy, that edgelord. It's hard to
I'm
like.
not sure if any of
ignore
you
it.
guys brought it up because I just ran away for like 10 seconds.
did you run away from your problems?
Oh,
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know. That's a good question. Is the podcast my problem, or
Probably.
is the podcast me running away from my problem?
Probably both TV.
Dude, that's deep, dude. Too deep for me, bro.
But I do believe the actual definition of the word edgy actually has nothing to do with violence whatsoever. Let me just Google it up.
Okay, go for it. Looking forward to this definition. Maybe it'll shock my worldview.
So, dude, man, while he's googling, how was your day?
That was all right. I got lost a leg. TBH.
Oh, were you trying to bring back your mom?
you asshole. So how was your day, Becker?
You know, just got money, fuck bitches, the huge. Oh, you
Oh yeah. Okay, so it's actually something very different to what I thought just then. Okay, so according to our friend Google, edgy is an adjective and it means tense, nervous, or irritable.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. No one uses it in that sense except
No one
other
does.
people.
No one does.
But-
I just thought it was valid
But
to
it's-
bring up the definition.
Its definition's been bastardized. You have to remember that. A
yeah,
lot of people
like the
will
definitions of
ignore
words like
definition.
change a lot over time.
Oh,
Like,
obviously, I just wanted to bring up that like it was used out of context quite a bit.
all right,
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
So I guess yeah. Fuck edgy.
Yeah.
Fuck
Fuck
buzzwords. People
Fuck
need to learn how
Fuck
to
a commie got
express their
killed.
opinions. Oh God, I still haven't watched that. TBH. Probably should.
Don't.
You probably don't need to.
Okay, I won't then. Okay, we should probably stop talking about buzzwords before I end up mentioning Origairu again.
Maybe Origairu should just get
definition
good.
of edgy fit Origairu.
We just talked about it actually when I was describing 8-Man because he was like his worldview was very different and he kind of said fuck friends, fuck girls because girls are out to NTR me and shit like that. So people called
So
him an
it's
edgelord.
essentially like what Oh, 9K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people called him edgy because of that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want to move on to before we like rediscovered the word edgy was various concepts, and now these are essentially buzzwords, but they're more like phrases.
Like critiques, maybe arguments.
Yeah, like really cliched, uninspired critiques of stuff. Usually used like in a similar, uninformed fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So one we've got on a list here is the source is better, right?
Oh god, that's a big one. Every time,
I assume you guys are more informed than I am because I actually have not read any source
Anytime there's an adaptation of anything, you'll see source readers there, like following along, and they'll like mention every single like difference that will be made, and they'll shit on it. I'm guilty of this too, but I usually, when I do it, I like try and mention something I thought was better, that was interesting, like done in the original material, like here's a really random example. In Showman Sample, which has a manga version as well, and like in one scene, the guy falls on the girl's boobs. In the manga, he falls on the thighs. The thighs made more sense because he was a thigh guy, not a boob guy. So
but it's like cliche in anime to fall on boobs.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But I pointed that out, and it's not necessarily me saying the source is better. It's me saying like, oh, look at the difference. Look at the difference. I thought it would make more sense.
Fucking like, there's this idea that like good adaptations are automatically like faithful ones, or that faithful ones are like what adaptations should be. Like,
oh yeah,
like 1-to-1 ratio or like panel to panel adaptations are like apparently like really good. I really like disagree with that because I don't know.
I meant, could you imagine if every like visual novel adaptation was 1-to-1 faithful, then you would get something that would not fit anime at all, and it would be a horrible experience.
Right.
It would be, honestly. Like, I know people circle jerk like Madhouse for this because of that, because they're known for just doing straight like panel to panel adaptations, but it sucks because anime is its own medium, and you can definitely take advantage of that medium. You don't have to like constrict yourself to something that happens in manga or like in a light novel or something like that. And you have to remember that you have to trim the fat from these stories too, so that it works in an animated form, because anime is more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Writing
right. Oh, yeah, I was gonna say like fucking like it's implied that like the source material has like no fluff or filler at all, when like a ton of manga do. Like a lot of people, I've seen this opinion a lot, that the first 25 episodes of like the original FMA are just better than Brotherhood, because Brotherhood kind of skips over a lot of like side stories in the manga. I've read like up until where like the ball, or in this case like the plot, really gets going, and honestly I thought those side stories were like fluff and like uninteresting, and I'm kind of glad that the Brotherhood adaptation kind of skipped a lot of those. Because
one thing when people commonly bring up the Brotherhood adaptation is that a very delicate story arc, and I won't go into details here, but I think we all know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Is sort of like not done over as many episodes as say the original, and as a result had less of an emotional impact.
I mean, I guess.
What would you think of that?
They chose to like focus more on that on the anime original parts, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I see what you're saying. But like, there's just the idea that like apparently because like one adapted more of the manga, like more parts of the manga than like the other, or not more parts. Obviously, Brotherhood adapted way more than the original, but that it adapted like those first like couple parts, that it's like better in that sense. But that's just me talking as a big Brotherhood fan. So.
So well, yeah, what I was gonna say a while back actually was in regards to mediums, was that it's really cheap to produce like a light novel compared to an anime. So when you can write in like a bunch of side stories and filler stuff and like anything like that, or just more content, it's because it's really easy to, and it won't actually cost you anything. But for anime to actually produce it and show those things and show everything, it's going to cost them a lot. a whole heck of a lot because you have to hire a whole team to do this. Light novel, it's just one guy and maybe an editor. Manga, probably like a very small team of people to do like the art and one guy to pretty much come up with the story. Anime, there's like, it can go up to 50 people.
And a lot of this shit has to be planned out like months in advance too. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
With anime, you can't with like schedules and everything, you can't just like go back and like redo something. You have to I don't know. It takes a long time just to produce one episode of anime. I learned this from like Shirobako. I'm not saying that Shirobako is like the guidebook on how to make anime, but it does like teach you a few things.
I'm reminded of Game of Thrones in this regard, when a lot of people like complain about how it's not a really good adaptation for the TV show compared to the actual book, even though they forget that the book has a lot of like stuff that just doesn't really make sense, doesn't make sense, but it just kind of like adds more and too much fluff. Like honestly, George R.R. Martin loves to go on and on about like describing food, which isn't really, the easiest thing to translate into a show. And then there's stuff like how they speak and how they do stuff, and it doesn't really make sense, and it's hard to convey that in like a video format at all. Like maybe some battles can't even be properly like seen or choreographed at all, but you can make them up as fancy as you want because it's fantasy stuff. And like the same could happen in anime too, where like the book describes it in like crazy detail, or it just goes on and on about like some random stuff that happened in the fight, and it takes like pages upon pages to describe a whole fight, and then the fight lasts like 5 minutes in the anime, or like 2 minutes in the anime, because it's actually really quick to animate those things.
Right.
Like that happens really often in manga too, because manga will have like a whole chapter dedicated to like one thing, or like a like half a battle, and then the whole battle will probably take like 2 minutes to actually animate.
But I feel that
one thing that doesn't translate well from stuff like manga and light novels is that a lot of time people talk during the fights.
Oh yeah,
I assume that has to do with how manga and light novels just work.
Yeah.
And so you get these really bad adapted fights where they'll like strike their swords once and then talk for like the next 5 minutes.
Like internal thoughts and shit.
Swords. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like monologuing, stuff like, oh, my special ability is this. Like, because like in a light novel, like, also just because they're badly written, but in a light novel, there's probably not enough room sort of just to describe how these powers work. Like, it's probably just easier just to have the character
still
say,
really
I
bad
do this
writing,
and that.
Though, to have a character describe your thing instead of actually like you describing it as the omniscient author.
I mean, let's be real. This is a podcast about stuff we hate. I hate shitty light novels.
Yeah.
I don't read shitty light novels, but like shitty light novel anime, I fucking hate it.
Yeah. So speaking of hating stuff, fuck Japan. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's racist.
Nah, it's totally no. Well, I'm relating this back to the authors stuff because Japanese authors can't write for shit.
Right, I feel that
Pretty much.
Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about something else because we kind of talked about source versus adaptation for a bit.
Yep.
I want to talk about like this is actually like a really annoying thing I see a lot of time is when people say like there's no character development, no plot development, or like,
there's nothing happening.
Nothing happening. I just think people are like ill-informed or just don't pay enough attention to what they watch. I know there are a lot of people who just like have their anime on a second monitor while they're playing games or something.
No, I want to. Okay, can I call out?
No surprise, you missed stuff.
Can I call out a user in our podcast, or am I not allowed to? TBH.
I mean,
like you can do it ambiguously. Like I've already done it.
Okay, there's a fucking mod I know who fucking decided to say that this Kuramuko had no character development or no character development actually, and I was like shocked at this guy. I mean, it's not the best written anime, but you can't fucking say there's no character development, you little shit. Oh my god!
Also, that implies that characters have to develop. Like that doesn't have to happen. Like that doesn't have to happen all the time. I don't know why people always expect that to happen, but.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh god, it actually like bugs me. Like, why do they force these expectations onto these shows, and then when they don't meet them, they instantly assume the show's bad because of it.
Especially when the expectations are just wrong. Like, for example, like, I'm gonna watch K-On! And I want some.
I'm gonna be expecting like
action fighting anime.
Or
That's
even
wrong.
when they expect like there to be like musical performances like every episode. There's like 4 musical performances in the entire series in both seasons, just 4 at least. But that's not what K-On's about. K-On! Is about is like a coming of age story. It's about making friendships in high school. And god damn it, I don't know.
It's about fucking around.
Yeah.
And that is the most important thing in life.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but like, I don't know. I feel like people like go in the show with the wrong expectations and then like bitch about it.
Yeah,
but
they can
like,
really.
And there's like a lot of things. This and the whole like nothing happens meme kind of like is just slapped onto slice of life shows usually, because slice of life shows don't usually have like an overarching plot, or like they don't have too much like action. And I mean by action, I mean like usually it's like fighting or explosions or some bullshit like that. But I don't know. A lot of stuff happens. You can't just tell me that like a 12 episode slice of life series and there's nothing happening in it. There's at least something happening. Maybe they make friends. Maybe they go to a new place. Maybe they learn something about themselves. Like I don't know. It's like really, it just seems really lazy just to say that nothing happens. Obviously, you weren't watching the show. But...
TBH, the only time nothing could happen is at the end of every episode, they rewind to the previous day and they forget everything. So they're just restarting each day over and over again.
I kind of feel that. I guess. But I don't know. I just feel like that's just like a really like lazy argument. It's like they never really expand upon it either. Like they just say, "Oh, nothing happens. It was boring." Oh, boring's another one.
It's just people with like short attention spans, right?
Usually. It's usually people who prefer like fighting shows. And there's nothing wrong with liking fighting shows. But like I don't know, you should probably expect something else from like the slice of life genre, or like the romance genre, or like the historical genre or something, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So something else I want to talk about is the concept of over and underrated, because that kind of bugs me at times. Okay, whenever a show is popular in the season, there's always a bunch of posts about how overrated it is.
But there's also a lot of posts that say how great the show is. So I guess it's in response to like the like excessive, or not excessive, but like abundant positivity.
Just like a very sudden harem anime that is currently airing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it right now.
You guys, it is a borderline harem anime.
Fuck ReZero. Fuck it. I'm ready for you fan gays to come at me. I don't care. You don't even know what my Reddit username is. You probably forgot it by this point.
I mean, it is pretty random.
I mean, like, you're saying this now, but you're gonna regret it.
Nah, like, I'm not. I'm totally not.
A couple of days down the line.
I don't even go on our anime, TBH, JK.
Kappa.
How else could I get triggered? A couple days down the line, you're gonna get hounded on by some ReZero fan gays.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, it's not a harem because only 2 of the girls actually like it, and for it to be a harem, it needs to have 3 girls.
Oh, that's a nice, that's a nice accent you got going there. Okay, so
even though our protagonist is absolutely surrounded by various girls who give way more interest in him than they should for just some homeless fucking weirdo.
Don't worry, man. Your rage is justified. Well, might be justified, but let's get into this another time. Let's talk about overrated, underrated, just generally, because it always happens. For every season, there will always be one show that's considered overrated, and then like when a show is not watched a lot, it'll be considered underrated. But it's not actually like underrated. Like it has a decent score still.
Yeah, a lot of like supposedly underrated shows have like an 8 or above score on Mao. then that just means it's just underwatched.
Yeah. Oh god, what's even worse is there'll be like people who think shows are underrated. Like, okay, they'll say like Erased was an underrated show for the winter
People
season.
actually say that? Holy shit.
Yeah, there's a guy I saw on our anime who made a post about that. Like, he was like, "Oh, I want to know about these underrated gems like Konosuba and Erased and ReZero," and I was just thinking to myself, how can you exist like that? And but then I
Maybe
realized
he just doesn't browse our anime. Maybe he just knows
These
about
are
mainstream anime like One Piece.
That's what I think. Those are those people who consider like the big three as like all of the main anime, and then they'll watch like a few things some people recommend, but they won't watch things that like the major anime communities get into, and then they'll think they're underrated or they'll hidden gems or whatever, and suck. It's so it's actually aggravating. I actually hate it. Fuck those people. Yeah. Seriously.
I mean, I don't blame them.
No, I blame them.
They don't know what I think.
No, their fucking ignorance is disgusting. It should be a sin to humanity.
Well, now you're just getting a little extreme, buddy.
No, fuck them. Yeah. I hate ignorance. It's poopy.
Ignorance is definitely not bliss. But like,
well, I mean, like it's not necessarily ignorance. They could just be figuring it out for the first time, and they'll be like, "Oh my god," and they don't actually realize that bunch of other people like these shows.
No, I can't. I refuse to believe someone can do that. Can just go through life just like not realizing what everything around them, like just understanding what's happening. No one can be that stupid. Please.
Well, I mean, like they could just be new. They could still be getting into it. They're not necessarily going to be like that after a couple of weeks. After they discover.
Then they're fucking casuals, and they deserve to die. Fuck casuals. God. Piece of shit ruining anime. Forcing everyone to draw like googly anime eyes instead of regular eyes. Goddamn otakus.
Okay. I think that just about covers the concept section.
Then we need to talk about one major thing, which is just like it's not it kind of is a concept, but I think we need to talk about it. It's circle jerking.
Oh,
hold on. I just found something on the list I want to talk about just before we move on to the circle jerking.
Okay, go ahead.
It's pandering.
Oh yeah,
that's
a
good
one
specifically otaku pandering.
Oh man, it's really bad.
People just love using this word when I don't even know when they like to use it, but when they see something and it's like, this was clearly only made to bait otakus into buying the Blu-rays. You know, that sort of thing.
I mean, it's kind of applied to some shows that are just clearly, like...
Obviously.
Yeah, like when they censor boobs.
But a lot of the time it's just like slapped onto shows that are just clearly indulgent in themselves.
Yep.
But...
What do you mean? What does it mean to be like self-indulgent when you're like an anime?
When I think of like self-indulgent, I think of like Monogatari. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we're all thinking of that when I said otaku pandering. Right?
Yeah, I was actually thinking of Monogatari when you said that. But
I'm like, oh, I've already shit talked the ReZero fan base. I'm not sure if I want to trigger the Monogatari fan base.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, who among them could possibly be listening to our podcast right now? TBH.
Like, I'm just gonna say, Monogatari, apart from Monogatari, which I actually think was good, is actually like a lot of pseudo-intellectual, and I don't mean the show was pseudo-intellectual, I mean pseudo-intellectual and otaku pandering, so it just panders to these people.
Oh shit, using the buzzwords, fo.
Ooh.
Damn.
Yeah, it just panders to people who watch it and then feel like they're smart for watching it.
I understand that feeling, yeah.
I will say that Monogatari has one of the worst fan bases I've ever seen.
But there were wicked bants. I'm sorry, but you probably didn't pick up 99% of the show because you don't speak Japanese. You probably didn't even pick up on the wicked bants. You probably saw some cute purple-haired girl tilting her head and you're like, oh my god, wicked fucking bants.
Or that toothbrush scene, and you're like, "Oh, best anime ever."
Oh, it's right, guys? Okay. Can we just like talk about like the Monogatari fan base and how like cancer they are?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, yeah. So The worst is when they like argue that like the fan service is like really deep. I'll admit the fan service does have some depth, more depth than most shows that have fan service.
I mean, it's flashy, but
like it's not like the deepest fucking shit ever, honestly.
I mean, I guarantee you now that anyone listening to at this point who's getting triggered is just going to link Bob Does essay, right?
Oh,
I
ready
still
for
actually have never read that, and I don't really plan to.
I'd like to just bring up that the toothbrush scene had no significance to the rest of the show. Sure, it was flashy. Sure, it wasn't just generic fan service, but it was fan service nonetheless, and had
It's just
zero
multi-purpose
plot
fan service.
relevance.
That's all it is. It's not like it's solely there for like just to be like make a statement or be, I guess,
it's
deep.
Just fan service.
It's still, I mean, fan service is still fan service, whether it has like depth or not. And I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with fan service. I don't really mind fan service too much, but like, I don't know, claiming that it's like super deep and that it's not like still fan service, like, I don't know, get your head out of your ass.
The toothbrush scene in particular, this is one that people just love talking about. It portrays nothing about character relations or anything. It just has zero relevance to the show before or after. It's just there to be interesting and like and lewd.
Yeah.
And controversial.
Oh yeah.
It has little other value to the show. And then people watch it and they'll be like, this is so deep. And there's another fucking buzzword, guys.
Deep.
Deep, pseudo-intellectual, otaku pandering. I feel a bit hypocritical for using all of those words to describe it, but that's just how I feel about it. I feel people watch this and feel like they're the epitome of euphoria.
Don't worry.
In this moment, we are euphoric.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say the epitome of like intellectualism or something dumb like that, but just that euphoria guy just came to mind.
No, it's okay. Look, this is the hate cast.
Enlightened
we hate
by
on
their
everything.
own intelligence.
Yeah, so let's move on to the circle jerk then, because that's kind of a thing we need to talk about. Because
I mean, we're sort of already there, right, with the Monogatari.
Yeah, but I mean, just in general, like there's so many series that just their fan base like starts a circle jerk about something, and then it just never ends, and it's so fucking annoying to just see it like a year later still there. Like, okay, I'm not sure. I don't think I can actually spoil anyone at this point if they read our anime comments, but just like Madoka Magic, every time like people would talk about the series, it's the same thing gets brought up over and over again.
There's usually a mommy joke. There's
yeah.
Someone will bring up that's a deconstruction,
like,
which does not necessarily make a show good or enjoyable.
Yeah,
I don't even want to say it's a deconstruction. I believe like the dark, edgy stuff. Oh my god, I've just used another couple of buzzwords. I feel like the gritty stuff in the Magic Girl genre is very much the norm, right? Like I haven't watched much.
It's
Magic
not
shows
the first anime to get, or not the first like Magical Girl anime to get dark.
I even watched like Fate Collide Liner Prismalia, and that was like dark.
But it wasn't trying to like. It wasn't like meta.
Girls, but we have no choice. We got tricked into being. It's very much like nothing special.
Yeah, like Cardcaptor Sakura has actually done like also has some deconstructions of the Magical Girl genre, but nobody like praises like Cardcaptor Sakura for being a deconstruction.
Okay. This brings us to something I really much want to talk about. People think stuff is a deconstruction, unique, the epitome of anime, just because it's the first one of the kind they've seen. Right? I did not describe that well, but you have stuff like they're seeing it for the first time and they think that's it, right? They've seen the best thing ever. They've seen the most original thing ever.
Okay.
Like, I think a more recent example is ReZero, where people think this is the best thing ever. This protagonist, he's so... I don't even know what they call him. And then they just list a bunch of things that other shows have definitely done better in the past, or even, I don't know, in the present. I don't know, but people just watch stuff and assume it's like the only one of its kind, you know? People have this preconception about like what Magic Girl shows are supposed to be like. Watch Madoka, and they're like, this is original deconstruction, best thing ever, when it's just really just them being uninformed.
It kind of implies that there's only like one way to deconstruct something, and like that's so wrong. Like you can deconstruct it in different ways. Like Mobile Suit Gundam is kind of deconstructs the mecha genre a little bit. Way before NGE did a deconstruction, I guess, quote unquote deconstruction of the mecha genre. But like nobody calls Gundam a deconstruction. But whatever.
No, they consider Gundam generic.
Really?
I've seen a lot of people just consider Gundam generic because you think.
Oh, generic's another one that's like generic's another like buzzword that I kind of hate. TBH. But
yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, generic doesn't necessarily mean bad. I mean, it's kind of like become this word that like means that something means bad. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I understand that because like okay, there's a show I really loved called Wreck, and it's a really I'm gonna say it generic story,
but it's done really well. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's sweet.
It's executed well, right?
Yeah, it's great. I enjoyed watching it.
But no, it's bad because it's apparently done. It's done things that have been done before.
It was obvious. I was so predictable. So I was just like, oh, I'm gonna.
Oh, predictable's another one. Like God, we could probably go like all night, but
I meant everything is predictable if like you predict it.
Yeah, I mean, just because if you can predict something doesn't mean it's like bad. Like that doesn't make the show.
It could just be really clever foreshadowing that you didn't notice.
Yeah.
I want to bring it back to the circle jerk topic because like that's a prevalent thing in our anime just in general where like there'll be a circle jerk for like the most popular show. Like last in winter we had Erased where people would claim it was the epitome of like modern anime. It was the best thing ever. It was like 10 out of 10 anime of the century. And then
guys, I'm pretty sure Circle Jerk is the Erase killer.
Oh my god.
Same.
Then anti-circle jerk popped up because the fan base, because people were annoyed at the fan base for being like all circle jerky about it, and then an anti-circle jerk appeared because of it. It's just so annoying.
It was so much cancer in so little time.
And it's happening again with ReZero too, which is unfortunate because I think it's a solid series, but I would prefer not seeing or hearing about how people like think it's the best thing ever. Like hop off its dick for a second. Holy shit, please.
Maybe you should hop on its dick. Maybe it is the best thing ever.
Maybe it's
it
not,
clearly
though.
isn't, guys. It just.
I mean, I have no fucking idea. I'm not watching it at the moment.
You still haven't watched it, but you have to deal with this.
I have to deal with all the bullshit, and I don't really want to, but I have to.
It sucks because like you haven't watched it, but you see like a lot.
It's interesting to like see it all unfold and everything, because only until recently I've been seeing a lot of ReZero posts on our anime, and I'm just like,
it's just because like the recent episode like did something, and now people think it's like
something happened.
Anime
in it?
of the best anime of all time.
To be honest, all it did was have like, okay, I'm just going to use I was about to use another buzzword, but I'll refrain. It's just having a dramatic credit scene, right? That's all it did.
So it's basically like
other episodes.
episode 12 or 13 of Aldo No Zero.
Sure, something like that.
It's like that. It just irrelevantly used, and now people think it's like some work of art.
Oh, I'm getting ready.
I was just talking to one of my buddies, and we're just like, this show takes itself so fucking seriously that it has the balls to do this at just some random point in the show. Like that point in the show had just barely any significance.
Oh, I'm getting ready for the ReZero fans to get ready to shit on you. Oh, I can't wait for it. I'm excited to read the comments.
I don't even care at this point. It's just like, okay, this isn't really spoilers, but Subaru, he dies over and over again, and he goes back and fixes things. And so in episode 15, he dies and goes back, but as he dies, it treats us as the most dramatic thing ever, like the sort of thing you'll see in some movie where all the characters do actually permanently die, and then the credits will like roll over like the shot, and it would play dramatic music or like calm music or just, I don't even know how to describe it, but that was just...
That's a lot of rage, man. Oof.
Yeah, I just want to unload my arsenal of buzzwords. I want to call it pretentious, pseudo-intellectual, edgy.
Jeez, man.
Try hard.
Oh god, no, try hard something like I hate for for games, but we're not a gaming podcast, so I can't even talk about that.
Dude, ReZero just needs to get good.
Probably does.
Sounds like I
TBH.
should just watch this show, TBH.
You probably should.
I don't even know why I didn't start it. I was just like, I don't know. Well, the thing is, I don't really watch too many airing shows per season. That's just not my thing. Because I always get behind, and I'm just like, I can't. The more shows I have to watch per season, and I just get behind, I just kind of give up.
Yeah,
and I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've never
really
watched
hate
more
that.
than like 10 shows per season.
I really do hate that. I'm just falling behind.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where we should end it. We hate everything.
Yeah.
Anime was a mistake. Anime is...
Oh, that's another thing I
anime.
hate. The
this
whole,
anime.
like, anime was a mistake meme. Fuck off
Oh,
with your
God,
stale
yeah.
memes.
Scott, put it in a Ziploc bag. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude, put it in a Ziploc bag. Like, savor
Guys,
it.
memes, they age well. Like wine, right? That's how it works,
Like,
right?
memes never die, but at the same time, like, they just kind of smell bad after a while. Once you just, don't put it in a Ziploc bag. It's gross. I'm gonna keep going with this whole Ziploc bag metaphor. It works.
Yeah, it does, TBH.
Yeah, okay. We hate memes, we hate anime.
But we also
Yeah,
love
that
memes.
wraps-
Memes are great.
Yeah. And we also love anime.
It's a love-hate relationship.
It's a contradiction,
Oh.
just like those people who say it's their objective opinion that blah blah blah. Oh, I'm just gonna wrap it up here. We've gone on for
Guy,
too long.
no, I want to.
We shouldn't.
I need to say one thing before we go,
Okay.
because I
One
really
thing.
fucking hate this.
One
Fuck
thing.
those people who use the XD face. I swear to God, I actually want to shoot every single one of you. fuckers who use that face.
XD!
I am so mad about it. It's not even funny. Like
I never
I
understood
hate it.
the early on.
Man, the
like, with
lowercase XD face is where it's at. Because it's not even a face.
because it just looks like
It's
you're
just
just spinning your
XD.
tongue up and you're trying to like lick your nose, even though.
So something like that. It's just like literally XD.
Oh,
That's all it means. It's the letter X and the letter D.
The second I see someone use XD, I just assume they're subhuman trash.
Jesus Christ,
No, I have no empathy.
dude, you have
or mercy
no
for those
chill.
people.
This is like no chill November right
I
now.
fucking
This
hate
is
them.
no chill.
It's my biggest trigger, man.
So what's your opinion on the anime High School DxD?
Yo, fuck you. Fuck you.
Okay, that wraps it up, guys. Thanks for listening. We hate memes. We hate anime. We hate you. You hate us, and that's a pretty good way to fuck you.